this might be game.
Yeah, it's
just one push and that's
Look
it.
at that. We've got every single kind of dragon apart from Electro Dragon. Look at all of that mess. This is insane. Oh, the rocket, we've seen that before. Will it be enough?
But the double rocket comes out. That'll be enough.
That's it. And in the, actually on the, the longest
5 HP in that top left with 3 seconds left. That could be the point.
Brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting. Are you ready? TCL for the next level visual technology. And JBL, enhance the way you listen.
Good afternoon and good evening, Clash Royale fans, and welcome to the High School League Clash Royale Split 1. We are broadcasting to you tonight from Auckland City in the Sky Tower. My name is Jonathan Arkadian Jansen, and we're here with my lovely expert analyst and co-host, Belinda Hope, aka Blendy. How are you this evening?
I'm excellent. I've been thinking about Clash Royale all week and what's going to happen tonight, and here we are. I can't wait.
We're going to have an exciting week 3 for you tonight because we have some fantastic teams and a lot of, hopefully, some good games coming up. So let's take a look at the tournament overview for tonight. So as a reminder to everyone, the High School League Clash Royale is 65 teams from across 35 schools, and they are battling it out in 6 groups of 12. This is a single round robin over 6 weeks of league play, and the top teams in each group will proceed into 3 weeks of playoffs to crown Australia and New Zealand's best high school Clash Royale team. For this tournament, we are going to be looking at a 3-set matchup. So we've got the first set, which is a 2v2. It's a best of 1. Teams are going to pick 2 players to battle it out in the first set for the first point. Set 2 is going to be a 1 versus 1, but it's going to be a best of 3. So teams must pick 1 player to battle it out, and this player cannot have participated in the 2v2. Do you think we're going to see any major differences in strategy here for the 1v1 versus the 2v2?
Absolutely. I think it's really interesting to see how these groups of friends have come together and they're building their decks either together as a strategy, or they are a 1v1 specialist and they've got something that's a super strong mix of cards together. Let's see how that goes.
We will. And if the teams are still match tied after the first 2 sets, we will be having a tiebreaker in a format of a 1v1 King of the Hill. What can we expect to see from the King of the Hill?
So this is where they kind of knock it out against each other, and it ends up with a last man standing. So whoever wins that will take that point.
Fantastic. And so let's take a look at what everyone's competing for in our prize pools for tonight. Now, thanks to Vodafone New Zealand, the winners will take away either their choice of Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, or Vodafone credit to the value of $750 for first place, $525 for second place, or $300 for third place. And also on top of that, we have some new prizes coming in this week, which are the Jbl Prize Packs. The first team will be walking away with 3 Jbl Quantum 400s with the Jbl Clip 3s. The second place, $525 worth of value coming through with the Jbl Quantum 300s and the Jbl Go 2 speaker. And third place will be walking away with 3 Jbl Quantum 200 headphones. So a phenomenal prize pack.
This is incredible. I've never seen such an amazing prize pack for any kind of sport that I've been involved in. This is amazing. What a great prize.
Well, guess what?
What?
That's not all, because TCL Plex mobiles are also available for the winning teams. And so I'm not the best at describing what these are like. They're absolutely amazing phones. Let's take a look at what they are.
The new TCL Plex mobile phones. See visuals come to life on a premium 6.3-inch HD display powered by its own display engine developed by TCL. With triple rear cameras and a long-lasting, fast-charging battery at a great price, the TCL Plex is the perfect all-rounder phone.
How good is that? Gaming
So
credit,
many prizes.
phone credit, headset, audio equipment, and the TCL Plex mobile worth $499 Australian dollars, all for the first, second, and third place teams of the entire tournament. What a prize pack to be coming into.
You know, if you're not already cool enough representing your school in esports, you're certainly going to be cool when you turn up with that amount of swag.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
And so let's take a look at today's exciting schedule for what we have for you lined up in week 3. So coming in first at 6 o'clock New Zealand, we have Funeral Parlour from Burnside High School versus Quanta from Mount Albert Albert Grammar School. Second, we have Warlocks from Mount Albert Grammar School versus Elixir from Bream Bay College at 6:20. And then last up for tonight, we'll have Bottled Top Bill at Northcote High School versus Flinders Crabs. Now, the times on here are New Zealand times, but they are only estimates. And so if you are watching or looking to watch for your favorite team, make sure you stick around for the entire broadcast, because some games are longer, some are shorter. And so let's take a look at today's first head-to-head. We have Funeral Parlour Burnside High School versus Quanta at Mount Albert Grammar School. Funeral Parlour.
Well, I'm excited to see Funeral Parlour play again, because I saw these guys when they won the high school holiday cup before Christmas, and they were incredible. So this is going to be a good game.
This is returning champions?
Returning champions, and not only are they Clash Royale champs, Node, one of the players, used to compete in competitive Rubik's cubing, and his fastest time was completing one in 9 seconds.
9 seconds.
Now, I think that surely must be a 3x3 instead of a 2x2. 9 seconds is incredible. I've been to some speed cubing tournaments, and this is excellent. So, well done, guys. Let's see.
Yeah, my best time, 9 seconds. I probably couldn't do one in 9 years, and so that is definitely impressive. Do we know anything about Quanta at Mount Albert Grammar School?
Well, Quanta are one of the 13 teams in this competition, so I feel like they've probably got a whole classroom dedicated to Clash Royale at their school for all of their teams.
It would be cool to go along and see, wouldn't it? To see all
Absolutely.
It's 13 teams that they've got, so they're our biggest representing school
Yeah,
in terms
let's
of.
see if we can get an invite and go and have a look.
Yeah, see what the story is. And so coming into the first match of today, so we've got the returning champions in Funeral Parlour at Burnside High School versus one of the teams from Quanta from Mount Albert Grammar School, and we've got the 2v2 coming up first. Now, with the 2v2, we mentioned a little bit about it earlier. What sort of differences in strategy are we going to be seeing, specifically for 2v2?
So we've got 2 players with their collection of cards, and they've got to be able to work those cards together. So complementary to each other. It may not be a deck that would work as a 1v1, so it would only work as a 2v2. Let's see how they pull their cards and make the best collection that they can. Now, we've got some bans today. Royal Giant, Funeral have said no Royal Giant, and Quanta have said no Rocket.
Which will make a pretty big difference coming in here for the two teams if those are part of their core decks. Starting off early with the Baby Dragon coming through, getting poisoned pretty low on the start, and the Dark Prince, Dark Knight. I'm still only 4,500 trophies, so it can be confusing for me.
Now, we've got the Goblin Hut there. That's an interesting card to see playing in a tournament, so I'm curious to see that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Got a little bit of value, but the Magic Archer, a very, very strong card coming through against the Inferno Dragon.
Now, I like the Magic Archer. That's one of my favourite cards. That's the one that can go through everything.
Great zap there. Took out the defences. That Inferno's going to get straight onto the tower. But taken out fairly quickly. Miner didn't get a whole lot of value there. The Inferno Dragon has an interesting mechanic where with Zap will stop it from attacking and reset its scale.
Absolutely. Anything that can affect the air troops can stop that, because the Inferno Dragon just progressively does more damage.
And a big attack coming through here with the Magic Archer taking out the Valkyrie, splitting onto the right side there with the Ram Rider. Good attack coming down from Quanta. Now, we do have Funeral Parlour. I mean, I'd personally say the favourites coming into this as the returning, champions who won the last cup that the High School League hosted. And so it's an interesting turn of events. We've got 600 health on the left, Princess Tower for Funeral Parlour. Quanta's doing well.
Look, there's some very good defence going on here. They're very well-matched teams. They're both saving up their Elixir at the moment, and we'll see who's going to play the first card out. They're probably waiting to see what gets played before they decide. A double
Lava Hound. This is going to be rough.
How do you defend against 2 Lava Hounds? You need... The Magic Archer is a really good choice, because once the Lava Hound explodes and releases its lava pups, the Magic Archer will help you keep it.
And as that takes down the Electro Wizard, which also would have been helpful, but the second one comes down right on the river to help take that. And they're trying to split the attack here, which I'm not sure if they have the Elixir to afford to do. This is going to be a devastating attack as those dragons come through. First Lava Hound pops, but there's still plenty of damage to be had. Poison.
Baby Dragon coming in to take out some of that defense as well.
That's the first tower down. That's 1 crown, all they need if they can hold off. Only 200 health left though on the left side, Princess Tower for Funeral Parlour.
Wow, I've never seen a double Lava Hound action quite like that. And now we've got double Electro Wizard coming out, and we've got another double Lava Hound coming up and the Inferno Dragon as well.
And they managed to defend the push there on the left-hand side. Poison going to be enough to be able to damage that Princess Tower with the zap. They're going to get it for the crown in the last second.
We go to overtime.
Overtime, but they use so much elixir there trying to push that Princess Tower just to get it past the limit. Are they going to be able to defend here? This is a very strong attack coming out from Funeral Parlour.
These guys love their dragons. We've got a double baby dragon. We've got a balloon coming in.
That is a big attack.
Air attacks.
That's all over.
It sure is good game. Well done. That was outstanding. What a game.
They did a really fantastic job. Starting off, Quanta did get the early game. They got that first push through. They really took advantage. They got the elixir value. They brought those towers down. They did choose to split quite early onto the right side, I think, in case it was going to become a two-crown game. They wanted to have that tower a little bit lower. They come through.
Yeah.
But the double Lava Hound just turned the game around.
Wow, you know, they did the right thing by saving up their elixir. We were wondering what was going to come out next, and we were not disappointed, were we? That was really quite something. Well done. All of those dragons, we had double Lava Hounds coming up both sides. We had double baby dragons. See, this is an example of where you're using your decks actually the same to work together, and you're somehow communicating that you're going to play those two cards at the same time together.
And those combos we talked about a little bit earlier, I think that was a great example of the strategy behind a 2v2 in comparison to 1v1, because they had 20 combined elixir between the two of them to perform these massive elixir intensive combos to put down two Lava Hounds backed up with defenses. They held some spells to break down the defense of the Quanta team. It was very well executed, and so
it really was. You know, it's that communication between the two players in a 2v2 that really matters, because it would have been very easy for either of them to put down a Lava Hound on both tracks and keep that going, but their strategy was to have it going together. So
and then after taking that first tower, to be able to move across into the next lane, and like I said from the very beginning, Mags had the advantage in terms of the princess damage. It looked like they were fairly elixir even after that first trade, but they not only managed to match the elixir deficit, but then surpass it, take both princess towers. It was I'm a fan. Funeral Parlour, you've converted me thus far.
Yeah, well done. Well, I hope that we get to see some more games like that tonight.
We do. So that's going to be the first set for the 2v2, and so that's 1 point over to Funeral Parlour. Moving into the 1v1s now, we will see how the next game turns out.
Now, the bands in this game, Funeral Parlour have banned Lightning, and Quanta have banned Valkyrie.
Lightning is an interesting band. And a small start here with the Goblin squad versus Goblins, followed by more Goblin squads.
Well, they'll just take each other out, but some will carry on, and then we've got a miner coming out there as well.
And a little bit of chip damage going down. The Prince defending against that miner there, the Warrior.
Now, the Princess placement there, I think, was very well done, because that wasn't damaged by anything, but it was able to take out all of the attack.
Now, taking a look at the rotation cards at the top, we've got 5 cards played so far by Jake from Quanta. He's got a very Goblin-heavy rush deck versus what looks to be like a fairly substantial control deck. That log is going to do a lot of damage to a lot of Quanta's attacks. The Rascals coming out to make their way towards the bridge.
Rascals is an interesting play. You don't often see that in competition either, but, you know, it has the main character that's able to take a bit of the damage, while the two smaller characters behind are able to do further damage without taking the damage themselves.
Things are not looking too good for Quanta right now. It looks to say that, Funeral Parlour have almost got an answer to every single thing that's thrown at them at the moment. The mortar is doing a lot of damage, the log in there as well as an extra little bit of clear. If you compare the chip damage on those towers, one side is very clearly coming out on top of these trades.
Yes, but it really is just chip damage. We even had the whole playboard cleared not so long ago. Now we're just going ahead with our mortar, but taking out a little bit more than chip damage is actually
it's doing a lot of work. And if you have a look at the elixir differences between the two, with Miner and Goblin Squad on the map, with a 7 or a 4 elixir difference between him and the enemy, it's a pretty impressive start here. It's going to be hard for them to recover from this momentum. I feel like with Jake from Quanta's deck, you're going to need to really get that momentum going. And so far, Funeral Parlour has managed to stall that very well. As you can see, Goblin Barrel comes in, instantly cleared away with the log.
Nicely played. I think 313 is going to be taken out at some point. It's just a matter of how.
Here comes up the fireball.
Well, there we go, down to 112.
And so I think it needs one little bit more of hit of damage, and then the log will be able to finish that off as well. So I'm imagining we're going to see Funeral Parlour cycling through his cards and then just throw 2 spells at it, and that'll be the game. He's got 17 seconds.
Look, we've got log emotes coming up. The crowd's saying, come on, play your log. Just need to see that log, and it's a win here. Oh, the log was actually used against...
he's got a fireball in his hand. I think he's going to use it right on the last second. Are we going to see it coming out? We're still cycling.
See it. Oh, we're going to...
He's waiting for this.
Oh, well, here we go. Got the game.
The miner did the job. Great job by Funeral Parlour there, and that is going to be the first point on the 1v1. A little unfortunate, I feel, there for Jake from Quanta is that he kind of got countered. His deck, considering it was a blind matchup, that was a pretty hard counter. Is there... I mean, what would you want to see him do in this next match to try and come back from that?
Well, you know, it is pretty hard. They were kind of well matched, but to begin with, but then that chip damage just eventually got past the point of being chip damage and was going to actually take out the game on a single tower. So that mortar, I think, is possibly the problem, and perhaps we need something to try and attack that. Maybe a miner that's purely going to the mortar that can just be tapping away at that.
So making the assumption that Funeral Parlour would hold the same deck, what sort of, if you were to change your entire deck, what sort of deck would you think you'd be bringing out against something like that?
So...
Well, we're actually going to see it start off right away. Jake feels like he's got an answer to that, and so we will see if he's changed up what his strategy will be, and again, if Funeral Parlour will do the same thing. And so we've got bats to start off with, same cards we've seen so far. And
now, favourite goblins. Oh, out there.
There we go. There was no Electro Wizard last time.
No, there wasn't. Now, that's a really good choice because this deck has got a lot of goblins and the bats and, you know, some smaller troops, so the Electro Wizard will easily be able to do some damage.
And we have the game coming up on the bridge and the goblins.
Oh, he did add in the miner like I suggested. So let's see whether in the last cards that we don't know.
And the poison as well. So he's got a well-positioned, I think he's well-positioned right now. The poison's going to do a lot of damage to their smaller DPS units, the bats, the goblins. He's also matched with a miner. I think the Electro Wizard is a pretty good matchup. I think Jake's done a good job, it looks like, adapting his deck to what the struggles were.
Inferno Tower is a good option here as well. Now, I wonder if that Inferno Tower placement, oh, now it's gone, but it may be able to take out the mortar as well. So we saw in the last game that the mortar really was the winning card, I feel. Let's see how we can deal with it now.
He's going to get the mortar, miner's coming through, so we got... Oh, countered straight away by the little Goblin Gam. Is going to take down that miner and return attack. Once again, similar vein to the last game, we are seeing the chip damage coming down from Funeral Parlour's side, coming out on top, down to 1,400. Will it get one more spear? 1,300 chip damage versus 2,000 in the first
more
minute of the
goblins
game.
Zapped out, good.
Just gone.
Electro versus the bats, that's don't last long there.
And we're even now, 10 mana on both sides. Teams stacking up the Elixir, waiting for something. Use the log offensively for no real reason. Interesting. I don't often see that. I'm not sure if necessarily if it's good or not.
Maybe it was a card cycle to try and get something else.
That would make sense.
You know, if it was held for half a second later, it would have taken out that Goblin game.
He was on max Elixir though, not wanting to burn through too much more. Interestingly, we have seen Quanta burn through 6 Elixir, and Funeral Parlour just burned through a little bit more, and they've burned through 4. Both teams playing with quite a lot of Elixir in the bank, as if they want to try and rush out something coming in soon. I like the way that they're trying to switch the side of the map here.
Yes, you know, if you start to get no real results from one side, start switching to the other side. You might end up getting a bit of a surprise attack, and we ended up getting down to 1,800 on the other side.
So. I think it's 1,100. 1,100 on, it's fairly even on both towers, going into overtime. 5 seconds left in this round. Can we get a last push? I don't think so. We will be seeing overtime in on this match. Yep. Only the knight left alive.
Pretty even here. Those guys will sort of battle it out amongst themselves. And the poison takes down a little bit, really does even things up. Heading up the other side now as well.
Splitting the attack there is fantastic. That's a choose to use mana for both defenses. but the Elixir Wizard will come back in. 700 to 500. This is going to be a pretty close matchup, I feel. 500 health on the Princess Tower with Poison coming through.
This is pretty close. There is no clear winner here. They are both playing exceptionally well,
Jake's
defense and attack.
Everything he needs to do to stay in this. But a Fireball is going to bring that down to 126 health. And now with a fast cycle here, Funeral Parlour might just come out on top.
Now we've got the miner that...
Oh, 42 health so close, but the Poison's going to run through. The Poison on the last tick.
42 left. That really was right down to the buzzer.
It came down to the spell cycle. It was who could get the log and the Fireball out the fastest versus the Poison. And Jake came back with the extra point. That's
I'm not a fan of Poison, really, but that was the best use that I've seen where it actually won you the whole game because of that timing cycle.
I think he had a lot of value coming out as well from the fact that he had a lot of small monsters with small health, and so being able to use the clear advantage of that as well as the tower damage. I mean, I think I saw him place 4 or 5 of those poisons on the tower throughout the game, and that damage adds up to come and take the win in the end.
You know, that was incredible. You know, they were so well matched. It was right down to the line. There was nothing in it. So well done to both those players.
Yeah,
it was really an amazing game to watch.
And so this is one of the first times that we've seen these teams come in and actually not have the 1v1 be a clean sweep. And so it is 1-1 in the 1 versus 1 right now. So they'll be moving into the tiebreaker match right now. The winner of this game will determine whether or not Mount Albert Grammar from Quanta or Quanta from Mount Albert Grammar stay in the game, or if Funeral Parlour from Burnside High School take out the entire match. And so this is game point for Funeral Parlour at Burnside High School. Let's see how it turns out.
It all comes down to this game.
1800 health already on the Princess Tower. Great first push. And the battle ram taking a nice little detour onto the mortar there. And we've got goblins coming through with the miner.
Fireball that took out the magic archer. Nice work.
It is going to let the miner do quite a lot of damage here, but the Dark Knight, if he hits that tower...
Nicely distracted by those goblins.
And shields down. He's still going to get a little bit of damage, but both Princess Towers actually aggroed on him there, drawing him nicely to the middle. It's a good positioning to play the card right in the middle, draw him across, especially if you get the second Princess Tower doing damage.
So that actually resulted in no damage being done with that done.
Now, it looks like Funeral Parlour has stuck with the exact same deck that he played the first 2 games. And Quanta has changed things slightly. He's added in what looks to be the Dark Knight and the Battle Ram. Oh, and the Bandit. So we'll see how we go with this one.
Now we're seeing a repeat of the Battle Ram versus Mortar again. And we've got the Dark Knight trialing down the other side this time.
We have a slight advantage right now. I would have said slight advantage going onto the Funeral Parlour side, but it looks like a lot of values just come through from the Magic Archer. And he'll get some chip damage through onto the tower. 1600 versus 13 or closer to 1400 damage on the Princess Towers with 1 minute and give or take left in the game.
So again, a very evenly matched game.
We still haven't seen 2 of Jake's cards yet. He's got Zap, Electro Wizard, the Dark Knight, and he'll surely pull out something new to deal with these, or we're going to see the Electro Wizard come down. Nice patience as well.
We've got Poison, the winning card from the last game.
Which will come in handy, I think. At this stage, they're fairly even trades, and so that damage is going to do a lot to help. Nothing at this moment to deal with the bats, and the miners coming down, doing good damage there.
Now that poor Dark Knight has not managed to hit any of the times it's been played. It's been distracted every time. Now, when you place your attack cards in the centre there, that distracts it. So that's a very good play.
Pekka's going to be a really useful card, I think, in this matchup because it's going to soak a lot of that damage, and it's going to be able to take out that mortar if it ever gets close. And to take out the mobs with the swarm monsters with the Electro Wizard, it's just going to enable them to walk all the way through. Moving into overtime very shortly. And the
How much
miner...
damage can the miner do in the last few seconds?
Quite a little bit,
yeah,
not quite enough.
Certainly can, but let's see what else we can do. So that's down to 600 versus 1100.
Now, it would take Funeral Parlour 2 fireballs, 2 logs to take out that Princess Tower. There's a lot of cycling, and they won't be able to have defense from that as well.
There's the first log.
There's the first log. 600 damage left on that one. With the Pekka coming through, though, I don't think you can afford to try and do the spell cycle. The Pekka's going to be distracted. Beautiful placement with the poison, getting the Princess Tower, the mortar.
Yes, absolutely. That was nicely done.
And here comes the miner.
Electro versus Miner.
I think the placement there could have been slightly better on the
There's
Electro
your
Wizard.
second log.
He's within 2 fireballs now. Let's keep seeing how this is going, but it looks like there might be a little bit of cycle damage coming through. All right, Jake's finding it very hard to break through a lot of this swarm. Miner comes in, fireball, last hit.
35, there we go.
And
nicely
it's all
played.
over.
Good
Well played by
game.
Fiona Parlour.
Nice manners. Well done.
GG. And that will wrap up our first match of today. And so Mount Albert Grammar from Quanta unfortunately weren't able to come away with the win against Funeral Parlour from Burnside. So they do remain or retain their championship status, at least at this stage. They have not lost their match as returning champions.
Yeah, but look, they were so well matched. Very, very strong players. I really hope that they get to continue playing with, with other teams, because they are a formidable team.
Absolutely, that was really well played. I really enjoyed it. I think it came down to a few small mistakes. The Electro Wizard not being placed on the miner for that extra damage and to stop it taking down that chip damage. It ended up being pretty close, but a great way to open our night. And so we will be back with everyone just after these messages with our next games. Good evening and good afternoon, and welcome back to the High School League Clash Royale, broadcasting to you from Auckland, New Zealand, inside of the Sky Tower. For those of you just joining us, my name is Jonathan Arkadian Jensen, and we are here tonight with our lovely co-host and expert analyst, Belinda Hope, aka Blendy. We've just had our first exciting game.
So exciting.
That was a close one.
Incredible.
Between Burnside High School, Funeral Parlour, who are returning champions, and Mount Albert Grammar's one of 13 Mount Albert Grammar schools.
Amazing.
Yeah, one of their teams. And we are back in for the next head-to-head of tonight, which will be Warlocks from Mount Albert Grammar School versus Elixir at Bream Bay College. Now, we just mentioned before that Quanta, which is one of the Mount Albert Grammar schools, was playing earlier, and now we have another team from Mount Albert Grammar, who I believe we've seen play last week, with Elixir from Bream Bay College as well coming in to play. So, these guys have played before, and we're going to start starting off with the 2v2.
So we've got some bans. Warlocks have banned Executioner, and Elixir have banned Wall Breakers for this 2v2 challenge.
And so, with the teams the way that they've been playing so far, we've seen that we saw a brilliant display last game of the 2v2 strategy, where they played together, really great communication. Now, I believe we didn't quite see such communication in the games that we've seen Warlocks and Bream Bay play before in the past with the 2v2. What sort of things would you like to see in terms of the 2v2 strategy in this game?
Well, so I was curious in the last game that they were playing the same cards and they were playing them together, and they've obviously got some good communication to be able to choose where their placement and their timing of those cards is. So let's see how this goes. I'm wondering if some of them are using other cards like spells, maybe clone as well, to make it work a little bit better too. So let's see how we go. I think it's interesting that Wall Breakers has been banned. I feel like last week there was multi-Wall Breakers coming out in the 2v2s.
So it could be a little bit of a rematch there, some good strategy. And so we will see right now as we kick into the game how that plays out. So from Elixir side, we got Fanboy and Pink Potted Parrot versus the Warlocks Mr. Killer and Ugwinwim.
Great names.
Starting off straight away with a fast start with the miner being defended quite quickly. 2 miners here.
Miner versus miner, yes, here we go.
Which we mentioned earlier with the synergy on the cards coming through. So a little bit of early damage down on the left side. Warlock Tower.
And a Balloon versus Inferno Tower. That's a classic move there. And then taken in by the Tornado and then sent off in the other direction.
Which will be taken out before it can get. I think that bomb is just out of radius.
Oh, it does actually do a little bit of damage. Nice work. Now we've got a Lava Hound coming up the side.
And
let's see, it's just the 1 this time, but still 1 is a very, very good effort.
They're quite tanky to be slowed down.
But we matched it up with a baby dragon and a Mega Minion.
Aerial attacks coming in from the side of Warlocks, but great aerial defense. Firecracker, Wizard. There's a lot of stuff coming in here to take those out, and I think they did get out of that almost unscathed.
Yeah, there was maybe a couple of 100 damage, chip damage again, with all of that effort. So nice defense.
And we've got a furnace place down here, which will just be a little bit of defense coming out. Blows up the skeletons. And the miner will want to make quick work of that. And 2,000 health, 2,100 health on the Elixir side. It looks like.
Double log taking those guys out.
And some good sportsmanship between the two teams, which is always good to see. And so we've got an early advantage out on the side of Elixir by the looks of it, but Warlocks are not going to quite give up on this one just yet, I would imagine. The miner coming through to do a little bit more damage. And they've got that Princess Tower down to just below 1,900. Now we've got Max Elixir here down on one of the Warlocks players' teams. He's burning through 3 Elixir.
Now we've got a Firecracker coming out. This is one of my favourite new cards. So the Firecracker I think is better than a Princess because its gun is scattered, or its Firecracker is scattered, so it goes and hits everything behind your target as well.
And a big attack coming through, but an equally as large defense as well coming out on the sides of Elixir. Now I think it was an interesting play they just tried to make. I think the reason that the Warlocks team member, Mr. Killer, was trying to hold his mana, or his Elixir then, was to bait out those big AoE aerial defenses, take them, put them into the rotation cycle before laying their big aerial attack.
So nice use of the barrel.
There's a lot of damage coming down to that Princess Tower. That miner is trying to churn through that, and the poison still.
That balloon is going to hit as well, and it will do some damage and explode its bomb.
Here it comes. It's going to be taken down. 3 seconds left to go.
Is.
1 crown. There's not enough time for the reaction.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh, look at that. Nice emotes there. Well
played
done
by the Warlocks. They held that. I thought that they Elixir had, they dominated the majority of the match. They did really good value trades in terms of Elixir. They had good pressure, good defense, and then, but Warlocks managed to just hold it, take a breath, stay calm, and I think it made the difference at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It allowed that balloon to actually make it to the tower, supported by everything else that was being thrown at it as well. So again, great communication between the two players. This is what it is. You're not out for yourself. When you're playing a 1v1, you just want to do it yourself, but in a 2v2, you need to be with your teammate.
And the patience as well, to be able to just say, to be able to adapt on the fly and say, hey, look, this is what's beating us. We need to adapt. The patience to sit there at max Elixir, which never feels good to be wasting Elixir when you can only hold 10 and it be burning over, but then to do it for a really good reason and make back that value, take away the crown in the final second. I really enjoyed that final play.
Another fantastically exciting game tonight.
Yes, it is. It's going to look like it's going to turn into a good one. And so we will be heading into the 1v1 next, because the first point is going over to the Warlocks at Mount Albert Grammar, and the 1v1 starting off between Aqua and the other guy. I was going to take an attempt at pronouncing it, but I decided not to.
All right, well, our bans for this game, Warlocks have banned Mega Minion and Elixir have banned Mega Knight.
Mega Minion and Mega Knight off the field. And so I've just received confirmation that we're going to call him Wraith. He threw the X in there to really throw me off, and he did, but we got there in the end. Aqua versus Wraith on Elixir's side, and this is going to be a lot of pressure on Wraith because he has to come back. If he loses, these two next 1v1s, that is the game over. He's the chance to really pull this back in for Bream Bay College. Princess getting a lot of nice damage down there. She's going to get a really high value shot off. Oh no, he went for the Princess Tower, got that nice damage. Unfortunately, the log does not do anything to those minions, but the Princess Tower will make quick work of those before they do any major damage. And Warlock's off to a great start. 1,800 health on that Princess Tower. A little cannon cart working its way through.
The goblins will take down that cannon.
And we are back to square one.
Yes, we are. And a Dark Knight comes out versus a Valkyrie. Oh, they're crying with their log.
Now, the Warlocks do have a little bit of an Elixir advantage coming in. They got a lot of units on the field, and they're only 3 Elixir behind the Team Elixir, not to be confused with. Goblin Barrel coming out to take down a little bit more damage. Minions, great counter.
Now, the Minions should also take down that Valkyrie as well. Minions versus Valkyrie is the correct attack there.
Quick work. Perfect counter. A lot of value here from the Princess, making quick work of those minions. And it should be able to clear this Inferno Tower too well before it's in danger.
Now, both teams were placing their Inferno Towers, I believe, in the right place, sort of in the middle, because it would draw in the troops coming from either side.
Goblin Barrel going onto the left-hand tower here. That first tower has just gone down super quick. Well, a strong attack from Aqua on a Warlock side.
Yeah, well, look, they were confident that they were going to take out that tower. They sent that Goblin Barrel down, and now it is down to 950. That was very well played. Nice foresight in their strategy there.
And now we just have to, I mean, it's a one crown win potentially here, but it looks like the Warlocks will be able to contest that second Princess Tower for a very definitive win. 30 seconds left in the match, 380 health.
Now we've got just a whole lot of defence going on here that's sort of tying up everything that's going on. Meanwhile, we're just sending Goblin Barrels over that are kind of going and just...
Aqua's in a fantastic spot.
There we go, good game.
Yeah, being able to have enough Elixir to clearly defend those attack attempts, take out both Princess Towers. 4 seconds left in the game. Wraith is going to need to rethink his strategy here. That will be 1 point over to Aqua on Warlocks for their 1v1, but it is a best of 3. There is a redemption chance. The story's not necessarily over just yet.
That was a very good game, but it was also, there was a clear winner in that game.
That was much more decisive than the 2v2 we saw, but not to say that that's going to be the case the whole time. In the last match, we saw Burnside High School win the first match, lose the second match.
Yes.
It is possible to come back from this.
Yeah,
what sort of changes do you think we're going to need to see?
Well, let's see. We just need something perhaps to defend against the Goblin Barrel that's going.
So we want to see a log.
There was a snowball that came in.
Yeah.
Now snowball again is the most popular card that was played in the World Cup last year.
Really?
Yeah, it only costs 2.
That's true.
It kind of takes out everything. Well, and it helps to shove everything back as well.
And so good value coming out. I think I'm a very big fan myself of the log to clear the Golden Barrels. Kind of just matches the card, makes it pretty useless, and also offers you potential for more clear as well. Quick start out here from Wraith on Elixir's side.
Nice bomb tower taking out that's distracting that attack that's coming down, and they're all gone, no damage.
And the Magic Archer to take out the Princess. Valkyrie coming through.
Wow, we've got a strong attack coming through.
We do. And the Miner took out that Archer. They're going to get a little bit of damage down right here. But the minions coming through. Ooh, that was very close to waking up the King Tower, which would not have been ideal.
So we've got an empty playing board here.
Waiting for the Elixir to build up before they unleash their plans. We still haven't seen 3 cards in either of their hands from Wraith or Aqua. Cannon cart coming down. That's to make quick work of that. And a little bit of defense on the bomb tower, which will also come in handy for that Dark Knight coming in on the other side.
The bats, of course, didn't make any damage there, but...
A lot of damage, though. He got 1,000 damage through with that Dark Knight on the one run.
That was very nicely played. I thought that the bomb tower may have taken a little bit more out of that, but it just perhaps wasn't quite placed enough that it distracted the Dark Knight.
So another good attack coming through here on the left-hand side, with a few archers coming through, the 2 archers and their princess on the right-hand side, but made quick work of them with the Valkyrie. I feel like this is an interesting... We had an interesting situation just before where Warlocks and Elixir had low Princess Towers on opposite sides of the map. What should someone try and do in that situation?
Well...
Would they choose the side that they have got low, or would they choose to defend?
Yeah, I think that's probably a useful time to start to split where you're going. You can, in this case we've got 250 on one side. You can probably get that at some stage next time that maybe the Magic Archer comes out, 2 hits and you're done. And then you want your main attack to go on the other side because you want to draw out all of the defense to come on that side that you're working on, so that when the Magic Archer does cycle through, you can just quickly do that and hopefully not have it defended.
And that looks like what they've done here.
Well,
but you run the risk of end up falling behind too far on one side.
Yes, I would have liked to have seen that Magic Archer placement on the other side to do 2 shots, take out that other tower.
Because with only 25 seconds left, the Miner looks like it will. No. Oh.
Luckily, those wall breakers did that. They took it out. Nice.
And that can be the risk you run. Oh, the risk you run is when you aren't able to take out those towers on either side.
But look, we've taken out another tower at the top with all of that attack, and now the King Tower has got everything lumped against it and 2 Magic Archers. Nice work.
Good
well done.
game. And that will be the 2nd win from Aqua coming out for Warlocks, which will put Warlocks, that's a game, set, match.
It certainly is.
And so looking at those first, that first match, the 2v2 was very close. Any key standout moments for you in those two matches?
Look, I think it was very nice at the end there how just everything all just came together. It was just a big crowd of all the attacks coming in on the King Tower, and we had the double Magic Archer. And, you know, I was maybe proven a little bit wrong. I would have liked to have seen the Magic Archer just take out that right tower quickly when I thought that it was appropriate, but then there was a bigger plan and there was a double Magic Archer going on, so...
But that's the temptation, is that you just want to get it down to the end, because it does happen in games, and I've had it happen to myself, you know, where you think you've got that tower in the bag, I'll pick it up later, and then you get overwhelmed and you don't have time to defend, and you end up losing that one crown, which almost did happen, but in the end it did come together, as you said, for Warlocks, and they will be taking out game 2. And so we do have one game left with us for this afternoon, and so stick around and we'll be right back after this break. Good afternoon and good evening, Clash Royale fans, and welcome back to the High School League Clash Royale Split 1. For those of you who are just joining us, my name is Jonathan Arkadian Jensen, and we are here with our expert analyst and co-host, Belinda Hope, aka Blendy. We have just had 2 phenomenal matches come through with some very tight games, and we are heading into tonight's 3rd match. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. So tonight in our 3rd match, we have Bottle Top Bill from Northcote High School versus Flinders Crabs from Flinders Christian Community College. One of these teams we have seen before. Bottle Top Bill will be a little bit of surprise. Blendy, what do we know about these teams?
Well, Bottle Top Bill, these are a team of conspiracy theorists that believe that the Earth is flat, the moon landing was fake, and that Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls are alive and hiding out in Argentina. So that's exciting. And Flinders, now we saw these last week. Now for the 2v2, last week we saw Wookiee Gas and Wakanda utilise their great combination of their giant and their split troops to take advantage of times when the opponent made negative Elixir trades. And did you know, fun fact, that they are the Flinders Crabs, and the Flinders football team actually took their name and just added their motto, not just football. So there we go.
So a lot of community spirit coming out there from Flinders Community Christian
Esports
College.
leading the way over there. Well done.
Which is great. And so we will, so we've seen a little bit from Flinders before in the past, and I think from the biographies that have been given from Bottle Top Bill, it looks like Iggy still collects Go-Go's, and so maybe he's going to be a problem on the Clash Royale field.
Oh, you think? Okay, yep. Well, Jbl, one of their players, dropped 500 trophies in less than 3 days last week, so that is no good either.
Depending on how high you were, maybe if you were started at 500 and you ended at 0, you've got a serious issue. But maybe if you, he could be at 7,000 trophies.
Yeah, maybe, and you just drop down a tier, and so you've got easier players to compete against.
Give them the benefit of the doubt heading into the 2v2 for tonight, and so that'll be interesting. Have we got any bans for the 2v2?
Let's see. Bottle Top have banned Mega Knight, and Flinders have banned Inferno Tower, one of my favourites.
Oh, which will be interesting, because Inferno Tower versus Mega Knight, those things that counter each other out, and so having banned both of those cards, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. So let's see if we can see some more of that phenomenal teamwork that we've been seeing all night so far. Oh, look at Flinders Crabs with the good luck.
Nice manners, good to see.
And return from Bottle Top Bill. Good sportsmanship all around. Starting off with the giant attack coming down from Flinders Crabs versus the Magic Archer, it looks like. I can't quite see him hidden behind the tower, and the giant skeleton.
Now, the giant skeleton and the giant are going to have a bit of a battle there. The giant will, of course, ignore the giant skeleton because it only goes for buildings.
No, he doesn't have time for that drama. He's just going to walk straight on past.
But the giant skeleton takes out that giant and carries on, and it will head over to that little tower there.
Very similar opens for both teams. They both had the tank coming through. They both had a Tesla tower there to defend, and the board is being cleared. Building up Elixir on both sides. Let's see what the second push has for us. Pekka coming through up onto the river.
Versus a princess and some bats. An interesting selection there.
I can tell how that'll go. Arrows coming through.
Taken out by the arrows.
And so now we have a fairly strong, substantial attack here. We're going to need to use a lot of Elixir to make this defense.
We've got a double dragon attack backed up with the Magic Archer. Nice work there.
Now there was a small zap in there to reset the Inferno before it got too much damage on the Pekka, which is a great use for that, and leaving the Magic Archer coming through to damage the Princess Tower.
Now, we did get quite significant damage on that Princess Tower, down to 800. Now, the Royal Giant will do a nice bit of damage, but it's being attacked by the Knight.
Being swarmed here quite significantly, easily cleared out. Now, do you think that we're seeing these two Teslas because Infernos are banned, and so this is their pseudo replacement?
Well, I suppose so. Oh, look, we're having an emote spam right here while everyone's waiting for their Elixir to come out. How nice. Yes, yes, they've all collected a lot of emotes. This is perhaps the most that I've ever seen in a game. That's a lot of purchased ones.
And with 60 seconds left in the match, hopefully we're going to start seeing the next round of push come out. We've got the Giant coming down for Flinders Crabs versus the Giant Skeleton on Bottle Top Bill's side.
And the
Pecker.
Yeah.
Taking quick stock here, a little value for the Fireball. 600 HP left on the Princess Tower. Still 600 with the Zap coming down. Let's see how this defense manages to hold up.
So they can take down that Giant. The Pecker is the next problem too, because we're only down to 500. They just need any major attack to come through, and that would take that out.
Bottle Top came out very, very well after that trade. Only 500 health left on their Princess Tower versus 700 on the Flinders Crabs side. 10 seconds left in the match. We might see a quick end here. He was wanting to push to stop it going into overtime.
Knight. It stops its run. That was very nicely defended. But down to 246.
With the Musketeer, is he going to get...
395. It takes it on the buzzer. Well done.
She got the hit out in combination with the arrows, and it ended up making all of the difference. And so that is 1 point over to Flinders Crabs.
You know, I love these games where they're right down to the wire and they win on the buzzer. It just shows how well these players are matched. It's really good to see.
And there's been the 2v2s all night, have been very closely contested. That was a very close match, could have swung either way. It ended up, I think there was a few misplacements there. I saw that the Bottle Top Bill side ended up placing wizards too close to the tower, and so the Fireball could come in, do damage to the tower, and clear out the defenses with one shot, giving them a lot of value. Maybe a more central location would have helped.
Yeah, potentially. I did like the use of the Royal Giant in there as well. That was nice. You don't often see that so much anymore. It used to be, you know, Royal Giant so OP, but now, you know, it is a great attack, and obviously, you know, it can just keep doing a couple of hundred damage quite rapidly.
I get flamed whenever I try to use Royal Giant. And moving into our 1v1 here, we do have a new set of bans. What are we looking at?
All right, so Bottle Top have banned Hog Rider, and Flinders have banned Inferno Tower again.
Still no Inferno Tower. I'm a fan of these guys. I don't like it either, and we're going to see no Hog Riders coming into this match. Let's see how we start off. A little Tesla versus a Mega Minion. Taunting Chris on Flinders Crabs versus Iggy from Bottle Top Bill. Iggy, the one who collects Go-Go's. Still.
Now, I think you're probably right that they're using the Tesla Tower instead of the Inferno Tower. You still have to have a nice building to act as a distraction there, and it does just kind of do nothing, and it pops up and it does a bit of a zap.
Now, he's woken up his King Tower here, which is going to be nice for his defense abilities coming on through. And this Giant Skeleton's doing his best to take out this brute of a golem, but he's not doing too good of a job. I love the positioning of his bomber sitting in the back there, just getting a lot of damage down.
That is really nice to see.
And still lived through the, if he gets one, he's going to get one, no, Princess took him out. So the skeleton, Giant Skeleton didn't do any damage just then, but the golem definitely caused a little bit of problem. And I think with no Inferno Tower, the golem is going to be something very difficult to deal with.
Yes, because the Inferno Tower, of course, draws the attack into it rather than allowing it to continue going to the tower.
And the fact that its damage scales exponentially ends up burning through the golem very quickly. But they're not able to really get that. That's the reason people use Inferno Tower over something like a Tesla. But that's all they're left with for this match.
But we also haven't seen anybody replace the Inferno Tower with Inferno Dragon, which of course is a flying version of the Inferno Tower.
Which would also do the job. Looking at a quick stock take here, 1 minute and 10 seconds left into the game. 1,700 health left on Flinders Crab's Princess Tower. Not for long with the Princess chipping away, and we've got 2,000 left on Bottle Top Bill's Iggy side.
Now we've got the Golem coming down.
Here he comes. Or maybe she, who knows?
So we're going to have our Golem versus Giant Skeleton battle again.
But this time backed up with a Witch, Night Witch. specifically with the bats.
Okay, so we've managed to distract the golem with that Tesla tower. That's nice, but it's not
still
quite
going to get
enough.
all the way through. This is going to be, I think this is going to be a crown here.
It probably will.
The giant skeleton bomb saved them. He did phenomenal value from that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was necessarily intentional, but it took out the bomber plus the knight. 400 damage left. Is the little golem going to do enough damage? 350 health left on the Princess Tower for Bolt Top Bill.
Now the giant skeleton is still, you know, it's only at half health. It may make it over there, although there's another golem there.
There's a sneaky princess on the left-hand side, just doing a little bit of damage there.
Yeah.
We're going to go into overtime here. 350 health is going to be dangerous. I don't know if they can afford the Elixir to stop that Princess Tower.
Now we've got 2 giant
He
skeletons.
needs to stop them. 45 health.
That was really nice to see. They were really hoping that the bombs would have been enough to be able to take that up. If the skeletons are able to be attacked enough to release the bombs, but actually the skeletons were trying to do the attack enough itself.
But that is an equalizer. Flinders Crabs comes out with the win on that side, and so we will be going to a 1v1 set 3, or match 3, game 3, to see how the result is. I love the fact that he threw the princess out on the left-hand side
really
to do some
nice to
damage.
see, yeah.
He got it down to 1900, I think, there by the end. It would have taken a little bit longer, but it begs the question: if the princess was attacking the golems, would they have hit the Princess Tower?
Well, potentially. So you'd have to have the princess placed somewhere in the corner where it's not going to be attacked by anything else, which is probably why I think that they placed it away to the side, but it ended up losing where it was attacking and then going,
Lost
that's right,
focus
I'm
and moved over.
heading over to the building.
And so let's see how we go on our next match with Bolt Top Bill versus Flinders Crabs.
Start off with our traditional emote battle. Who's got the best emotes in this game? I think they're also pretty well matched here, but they've got them all. Now, this is my favourite, the Royal Hogs. I love these guys. I've been playing Royal Hogs this week with Clone and Mirror. So place them out, duplicate them with the Clone, and then use Mirror, and then you can just have a massive wall of Hogs.
And there's a lot of attack coming down. He managed to do, because Flinders Crab's getting some great value and great damage on that tower.
We've got a Hunter. We haven't seen a Hunter
Oh,
in the game, but it's
lightning, phenomenal value, taking out both units and getting some nice damage down there.
Now, normally we would see this Ice Golem come out with something behind it. It would act as a sort of a magnetic distractor, but no, nothing behind it. We're all saving up our Elixir to see what's going to come out next, and we've got
So just some skeletons, just sitting in the back, just splitting off.
All right.
And the little mini picker to back them up. I think they're just sort of teasing each other out to sort of see what kinds of cards they want to play to try their best to do a great counter. And some good patience from Taunting Chris to play that golem. He's going to pull that mini picker all the way across.
All right, so we've got a log and a magic archer against the golem and a bomber.
Do you think the hunter is a response to the golem? Is that a good card to help clear that?
I wouldn't have necessarily thought so. I don't really rate Hunter myself.
Yeah, it's
actually.
an interesting change of cards that he's taken here. I mean, he looks like he's reworked his entire deck, but Taunting Chris is sort of stuck with the sort of same model that he was running before, and dealing with that golem was his pain point. Now, 50 seconds left in the match. He's got good damage on both sides of the towers.
There's the Hogs again, although dragged in by the tornado. Now, you know, you ask about whether a Hunter is against the golem. I would have added in Minion Horde against the golem.
A lot of damage can come down on that.
Yeah. Although when the golem splits, that does enough damage that it destroys the minion horde. But by that stage, you've got some other attacks out to take out the 2 smaller golems. Now we're going hard with the hogs here. They're taking out that tower. It's almost down to 1,000.
Oh, and the 2 golems made it through with the baby dragon behind it. This is going to be devastating for Iggy.
I think that's going to be tower just about gone. Oh, nicely defended, actually. Well done.
We're about to go into overtime, and the Hunter is... Well, it took out the Mega Minion, cleared the aerial attack. Hogs coming back down again, but again, they're going to be cleared fairly promptly, but not after not before doing a substantial amount of damage on that tower.
We're very well matched here. Oh, except now that we have a golem coming down, we've got to be able to defend
There's no
this.
elixir in the bank for Iggy.
See, this is where Inferno Tower would have been really nice to defend against that, even as a distraction.
And lightning comes down. That is all over. He just didn't have the elixir in the bank to be able to pull that one through, which is going to pull Flinders Crabs into the victory for us today. And so that's the end of that game. Again, very close 2v2. What were your key moments from the games?
Well, you know, that constant wondering how you're going to battle against the golem. You know, it's very difficult to defeat that. It's super strong, it breaks in half and it does damage as it breaks, and then you're left with two also very tough double golems to try and defend, and by that stage it's usually at the tower, so you've got to have a whole lot of stuff to defend it. I think that the minion horde really would have been a really good attack against golem, but you know, that was a very good game.
That's how it goes. And so let's take a look at our results for this evening. So our first game versus Funeral Parlour from Burnside High School, our returning champions versus Quanta from Mount Albert Grammar School. We had Funeral Parlour walking away with the victory. We had Warlocks versus Elixir in our second match, and Warlocks from Mount Albert Grammar School came away with the win in that game. And in our third and final game of the night, we had a Bottle Top Bill from Northcote High School versus Flinders Crabs, and Flinders Crabs came away with the victory. Even though that's what the scores resulted in, I think it was still, you know, a fairly close matches all the way through. I think I saw there was a bigger skill differential in the 1v1s. The 2v2s seemed very well matched all the way through.
I'm loving the teamwork that these players are showing. It's really incredible, and the communication skills that they've obviously developed between them, because you don't really know what the card order is going to be that you're getting, and they all seem to be very, very good at working on the fly, figuring out what it is that they're going to do to win.
Absolutely. And then the last piece for tonight, before we finish up, is our Caster's Choice Awards, which we cannot forget. As a thank you back to the players and the schools who give us all the interesting facts to talk to them about. And so what we do is every week players submit a little bit about themselves, and that helps us give you insight into the different teams and the players. And this week, who are we giving our awards to?
Well, I think that we've had some pretty good information come through. We've learnt that some of our competitors are Rubik's Cube speed.
We know that Loose Cupid from Bottle Top Bill's favourite food is bacon pancakes.
Yeah, look, I think that Flinders have done an excellent job of sending us some fantastic information. They've kind of done a summary of their play style from last week.
We had to redact some of it because it would feel like I was giving away their whole strategy if I mentioned too much.
And I really love that they're so confident that they feel that the Flinders football team has named themselves after them. That's fantastic.
So we're going to go with Flinders?
Yeah, I think so.
Flinders Crabs, the Caster's Choice Award for week 3. And so congratulations to you all. But congratulations to all teams on tonight's results. Even those who might not have walked away with the win played phenomenally. They had great teamwork. We had patience, initiative, a lot of these great qualities that people develop while gaming. And we'd just like to end the broadcast by saying thank you all for watching, and catch up with us next week for some more Clash Royale High School League. Good night.
Good night.
And this might be game. It's one push and that's
Look
it.
at that. We've got every single kind of dragon apart from Electro Dragon. Look at all of that. This is insane. Oh, the rocket, we've seen that before. Will it be enough?
But the double rocket comes out. That'll be enough.
That's it. And in the, actually on the,
the
longest
5 HP in that top left with 3 seconds left. That could be the point.
Brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting. Are you ready? TCL for the next level visual technology. And JBL, enhance the way you listen.